You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. So let's go ahead and go into our overall thoughts on the 10-part series of this documentary and where we're going to categorize it in how we view things and our takeaways from it. Who looks bad from the Bulls organization? Like I mentioned before, Scottie and Horace looks pretty bad from the Bulls organization.
As far as Scottie and Horace, yeah, Scottie's one that some of the stuff was self-inflicted from his perspective. I know allegedly he may not have enjoyed watching himself be portrayed the way he was. I think in a lot of the cases too, Jordan tried his best to make him look as good as possible. But some of the stuff was known already that what he did. It's probably more or less he didn't want to relive the past because he wanted to just say, all right, man, I've dealt with this. I don't need this rehashed again. Now everyone throw my name out here. But a lot of that was him. And even to this day, he still agrees with some of the stuff he did.
It's going to be interesting when Scottie gets back into the media's eye, how he'll be received or if the questions will be asked. And I don't see how Scottie can really ditch it. Not unless before he goes on, especially like on he's on ESPN, NBA Jump at times or some other platforms. He's going to have to address it, man. He's going to have to address it because the elephant is always going to be in the room. So it's going to have to become a point in time where he addresses it, man. It's going to be real interesting to hear his take and to get his feeling of it. I wonder if Pippen will actually talk to Jordan.
It all depends because he started the whole thing, controversy a couple of years ago. He gave the opinion around LeBron and Jordan, and then he flip-flopped it. So he shouldn't have any ill will towards Jordan, in my opinion, based on this docuseries. Because Jordan it wasn't anything like the 84 team. They should have a gripe. But Scottie, these were all things that were public information.
And that's the other one who looks bad from the Bulls organization, that 84 team. Man, Jordan, was that a snitch by Jordan? Was that a snitch by Jordan?
He didn't need to say it. Put it like that. It was entertainment value, obviously, for us. It was like, damn. Like I said, it was for entertainment value. It just put a lot of people on Front Street that didn't need to be there because they didn't ask to be put in that spot. And now they have to answer questions from maybe a spouse or kids. Let me check on this roster. Who was on this roster in 84 who he might be talking about? So that just puts people in an awkward spot that didn't need to be.
That's true, yeah. Jerry Reinsdorf and Krause. I mentioned earlier that Krause looked good. Well, you got to put how he looks bad in this for obvious reasons, whether it's from a contract perspective or whether it's from really busting up the team. So I think definitely those two look bad in all of this, even though Reinsdorf at the end tried to make himself look good in terms of trying to bring back Phil or what have, but nonetheless, the damage was already done.
Yeah, I think, too, the other thing that they didn't go too much into was how much influence did Reinsdorf have on Krause in those negotiations. So was it just Jerry Krause doing everything? Or was Reinsdorf behind the scenes pulling some strings to say, so that's one thing I wish we would have got to see a little more of, just to understand. So then do you really truly blame Jerry Krause for a lot of this, or is it Reinsdorf? Because sometimes when these organizations and franchises, you don't know who's pulling the strings. Some people have autonomy and they can do whatever they want from a GM perspective. Sometimes you have the GM or the owners meddling, which ultimately it puts the GM on the hot seat.
I would say the other one, lastly, Craig Hodges still doesn't look good from a Bulls organization perspective. Again, he wasn't really in this documentary and all. I really recommend you go to one of our previous episodes and clips on the Craig Hodges bit there. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.